Alright, there's the audience. Alright, very good. Alright, good evening everyone. Today I'm going to be telling you how people can conduct missile maintenance while being safe. So conducting missile maintenance is a very hazardous and very much terrifying job for the people that are really performing them, and it can be done a lot more efficiently. So the airmen that are working on the missiles have really intense and stress-filled jobs. They're constantly challenged with having to clean, check, and maintain the missiles that are within the silos, and they have to do so by hand. This can cause a lot of concerns for the airmen, and understandably they can get nervous because they're worried about the amount of pressure they have on doing such a high strained and currently such a high stakes job. So for the missileers to do their jobs, the airmen that are performing maintenance on the missiles have to do theirs correctly and first. So at least every month, if not every week, the airmen will have to go down into the missile capsules and try to find any problems, be cleaning them, and actually taking large portions of the missile itself apart to inspect it for maintenance reasons and to make sure everything is up to date. This, as you can imagine, can be very stressful and put a lot of strain on the workers themselves. So, although there's a lot of problems, I think that there's a permanent solution. One of them being a robotic system or drone. This would go down inside of the capsule and it could be remotely operated from the airmen that would typically be going down in the capsules themselves and doing these things by hand. So the way this would work would much be like a IED robotic system that is used overseas. If you don't know what that is, an IED is an improvised explosive device. This is basically something terrorists use as a homemade bomb. The soldiers overseas have little robotics they can set up, and it will go over to a suspected IED, and it can not only be able to tell if it is or is not an IED, but sometimes can even disarm it. This way, if it was to get blown or detonated, nobody in the area would be injured, and that is exactly what we're going for here. If anything was to be wrong, not only the airmen working on it wouldn't be injured, but the people within the distance wouldn't be harmed as well. So a good thing about this system is that there would be no job losses. Everyone would still have their same job and they would still have the same position. They would just be working at a greater distance away. They would have to learn the new system, and basically, again, they'd be doing the same jobs, but they'd just be having to learn it, how to do it on a virtual platform, or how to control the drone itself and get used to the controls. This would obviously increase the safety of airmen, and as I said before, not only them, but the surrounding people and the population of the town within and off of base. So although this is a great solution, it calls for action. And the main cause of action is getting the attention of the higher ups. And what I mean by that is the commanders and the generals, usually going to be the people that are running and in charge of the missileer bases. They're the ones who make the final call on whether this happens or not. They have to go through the paperwork, the funding, and getting it all set up. With all said and done, it's really their decision. So really getting the word out there is going to be one of the best things that we can do to make this thing happen. Another thing would be the manufacturing and the mass production of the robotic systems. We would have to find a obviously money efficient and low cost budget way to make high quality robotic systems that are able to go through the bunker and efficiently determine if anything is bad and also be able to replace the parts if need be. So they also really need to be tested. Testing is a huge portion of this. There can be zero room for error. There is zero room for error as a missileer. There is zero room for error as an airman working on the missiles. Therefore, there would be zero room for error for the robotic systems or the drones working on this. You cannot blame something this big happening on a drone error or mishap because that is absolutely unacceptable. Finally, if everything said and done would go into place, we would need a space or location for these airmen to set up individual camps or housing units, or whatever you would use for them to have a specific place to remotely pilot these drones or robotic systems within the capsule. So overall, it is a great course of action. You can tell that it would greatly improve the safety of not only the crew, but all the other people in the surrounding area. And if this course of action does get taken, it would easily cause the airmen's sense of stress and their emotional disorders to go down by a great amount, and the safety of others would also be greatly increased. So overall, it is a fantastic solution, and I think it could really help everyone out in the long run. Thank you.